What is important for European or American pharmaceutical companies to consider if they choose to partner with an Indian company?
One thing which I tell again and again is to avoid the laid back philosophy. In India, change is automatic. Nobody is afraid.
Given the increasing complexity of pharmaceutical outsourcing projects, what are the key competencies and skills a project manager like yours needs to possess to successfully manage these initiatives with Indian partners?
Thank you. I think this is again the question, which lies for the last 15 minutes what I told. But let us be specific. So if we go a little bit deeper, so what are the things which goes wrong? I think most often if you see in terms of generics, there is a tendency of biostudy failure.
Mhm.
And if you see why the biostudy fails, just because there is a difference in formulation not only in the generics but also the innovator batch to batch variation is there. So if you see how you can really outweigh, how you can go deeper and really have a correct supply chain or correct project management, is by really pulling extra batches of innovator and really having this kind of basic test like dissolution test, like basic screening, as I say, so that we control not only the development batches, that means the generics production, but we also control the reference drugs, the innovator drugs, RLD as we say. If we have, because we always check in-house that we are matching the parameters we are doing, but we don't check always the batch to batch variation of innovator. We don't check always what are the things can go wrong with impurities, really taking that extra effort early on in identifying some impurities which is unknown, as we say, taking that extra effort with patents, like to see that we are not infringing any patent, or what are the ways to really have a faster launch. And last but not the least, really for every development, really checking country by country on what scope it is there. For example, I have seen in my experience of last 25 years that small things affect a lot. For example, even a regulatory submission, a correct regulatory strategy. So I would advise youngsters who are coming in this field to have a regulatory affairs team member right from day one, because your regulatory strategy should be clear from day one. We should not scramble in the end. Similarly, the whole development strategy, I would advise the youngsters to have an analytical development guy, AR&D as we say, to think of developing the methods and protocols so that it can be really transferred easily. Because as we know, if you export any drug from India to US to EU, in EU you have to do retesting, right? So if you have methods and protocols, including the availability of columns, which are easily available, methods which could be easily transferred. And because then, this tech transfer, if it can be handled, testing can be handled, and the process can be handled, including serialization. I think if we think of everything from day one, then the suffering is much less, and we have more or less, we have, as we say, the correct first launch, and then of course, scale up is possible.
You scale up. So it's the love for the detail in my language, and to know where to get the relevant pharmaceutical know-how, medical affairs you described, for instance, testing you described. So this is something you need to possess as a project manager, either yourself or, as you described, to get some youngsters in your team to do all those checks. And the quality, the love for the detail, this is the major hint you give to our audience. Great. Pharmaceuticals have accelerated and transformed their business in an outstanding way in the past 3 years. This is my external perspective. Will the speed and need for tech transformation stay the same in the next 3 years? What do you think?
Sure. I think it's a good question, Bernard. I think the answer is yes. Because,
Okay.
if you see due to the current geopolitical situation, in Europe, if you see, there is an ongoing war in US, the tariff rise is there. So I think for next 3 years, I can safely say, but it's up to economists to validate that even if you consider tariffs, still India will be competitive in manufacturing. That's the first point.
Mhm.
So even if you put tariffs, I strongly believe that Indian manufacturing will still be competitive. Of course, there are a lot of other things which has to be, taken into consideration, like the API and production.
Mhm.
Second thing is, if you see the global picture, anything if you want to change, change is a painful process, right?
Mhm.
So currently, whatever manufacturing is ongoing, I think that will continue because already India is delivering, quality is there. So that's the second thing. But the third and most important thing is the whole, as I said, in terms of complex, products, complex
Mhm.
generics. I personally feel that India is a perfect breeding ground of doing the development as well as bio studies, because everything is available at one hub or one spot, and this is the reason I feel that easily, for next 3 years, India will still be a kind of a product producer at choice or manufacturer at choice for the West. And there would be still a lot of tech transfer projects going from, Europe to India or US to India, even though there is a kind of, discussions which will happen to have more of the products made in Europe or made in US. So there will be balance. But Indian players, if they continue to deliver quality
Mhm.
products. So this is the caveat, they should continue delivering quality, because that's the most important thing. And once that is there, I don't see any risk of India coming down with the production. It will grow and grow for generics and also for other products.
So, according to you as an expert, the need for tech transformation will stay at high as it has been too, and India will stay as the pharmacy of the world as it is now. Kuntal, thank you for sharing your invaluable insights with us today. I'm absolutely confident your expertise on pharmaceuticals is incredibly enlightening for our audience. We appreciate you taking the time to join us for a cup of tea and a stimulating conversations. For those of you interested in exploring partnering with Indian pharmaceuticals further, please do not hesitate to connect with Kuntal Chatterjee on LinkedIn. You can find the link in the video descriptions. And if you'd like to discuss your specific outsourcing challenges, feel free to schedule a complimentary consultation with our team at eisq. Visit our website to book an appointment. Thank you for watching. We look forward to bringing you more insightful conversations in the future.
Thank you, Bernard. Namaste to all my viewers. Thanks a lot. Okay. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Namaste, Bernhard Gandolf.